Many of us are familiar with how starter fertilizers can help boost yields, but there are a number of other advantages that can be gained throughout the growing season from the application of spring starter materials. The first is, starters play a key role in fostering crop growth early in the growing season, especially in colder climates and in no-till operations. What it all comes down to is soil temperature. The reason why that's important is because the colder the soil temperature, the slower the chemical reaction that makes fertilizer materials available to the plant. What starters do is supply a large amount of phosphorus in close proximity to the root, allowing it to have higher availability to that young growing plant. One of the biggest advantages of starter usage that not too many people think about is it can lead to drier grain come harvest time. According to a summary review conducted by Purdue University, researchers found that a large percentage of the time, growers experience drier grain as a result of the application of starters compared to a non-starter treatment. In some instances, grain can be 3% drier. There are two main benefits to having drier grain. Number one, you can harvest earlier. And that's a huge benefit because there's nothing worse than having to wait for your grain to dry below 25% moisture to get it out of the field. Number two, you won't have to pay as much of a fee to dry that grain. To illustrate the economic advantage, let's assume we're working with a high temperature dryer that utilizes air recirculation. Propane has a cost of $1.70 per gallon. We're going to be drying 85,000 total bushels. We get that number assuming a 400-acre farm at 200 bushel per acre yield. And our desired grain moisture at the end of the drying cycle is 15%. Let's say we didn't use starters and our initial grain moisture is 25%. The cost of drying would be approximately 30 cents per bushel. That's just the propane cost alone. That works out to a total cost of about $24,990. Now let's say we use starters and experience drier grain as a result, with a grain moisture level of 22%. In this case, the cost of drying would be approximately 20 cents per bushel. Again, that's just the cost of propane alone, which is a total cost of $17,510. In the end, we end up saving more than $7,000. The third benefit of using starters is an environmental one. If I can supply some of the phosphorus that I otherwise would have applied in the fall and shifted a small portion of it to spring in a starter application, there are two benefits. The application is occurring when the plant actually needs it. I'm matching the timing of the application with plant demand. Number two, because I'm putting it below the soil surface, it's not subject to erosive or runoff losses. Keep in mind though, this application shouldn't be used to replace a broader phosphorus application program in the fall or in the spring, but it can offset a small portion to complement it. When you look at all the logistical, environmental, and economic benefits, an investment in starter fertilizer can truly be a sound business decision.